Since Jesus of Nazareth died a couple thousand years ago, there's always been talk of a second coming. For our adventure, this time around, you and I are the second coming, even though you may not have realized what is happening yet. A new chapter has begun for us as a result of the natural evolution of consciousness. Little by little, since the beginning of our species' time on this planet, we have been continuously getting more sophisticated. Yes, our physical form has improved over the centuries, but most of the increased sophistication has come through a gradual evolution of consciousness. In the beginning, we were not much different than the beasts who simply live and don't question a thing. They basically run on autopilot, just responding to their environment in pre-programmed ways. Humans, on the other hand, since we picked and ate that metaphorical fruit in the Garden of Eden, have come to question everything. We must know how and why. Unfortunately, the program available to our biocomputer brains is not up to speed with understanding the true nature of reality from a logical perspective. When Jesus walked on water, or turned barrels of water into wine, in an instant, it was impossible for us to see it in any other way but as a miracle. The truth of the matter, as Jesus often said, was that the miraculous things he did were not really a big deal at all. Anyone could do them, if they had even a mustard seed of faith in their ability to do it. This is where the how and why logic just goes off a cliff and crashes and burns. Modern-day science, and particularly quantum physics, has begun to recognize that reality is all in our imagination. In the 1960s, the seeds of this new level of consciousness began to sprout. The first evidence was a burst of creativity on many fronts, and a new passion for claiming the right to personal freedom. Today, well into a new century, creativity, particularly as expressed through technology, continues to explode in all directions. On a social front, there is ever-increasing pressure for changes that empower and give greater freedom of choice and expression to all people. These are all clear evidence of a societal evolution of consciousness. There's still a lot of pushback, though, in the form of anger, resentment, and violence, which is likely to continue. We have arrived at a tipping point. We are at the point where those less aware of the true nature of consciousness and reality are desperately trying to stop the inevitable shift in beliefs. Many people are filled with fear that all they have based their lives on will no longer be true. While these labels really don't carry an accurate meaning, the adventure we are living in has reached the point where we are part of a classic battle of good and evil, or more appropriately, light over darkness. On the side of good, Jesus may not come back in physical form, but it is the growing momentum toward a Jesus level of consciousness that is actually the shift is the result of the expanding awareness that reality is the result of consciousness, rather than consciousness being the result of reality. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? The answer is whichever you choose. The truth that is becoming evident is that we actually imagine everything into being. No physical thing has any reality apart from our belief about it. This knowledge is the cornerstone of Jesus' teachings. He spent his lifetime trying to wake people up to the fact that they were really the creators. Jesus' message was not that he was the one and only Son of God. His message was that even the lowliest appearing individual is just as much a part of God as Jesus himself, with infinite creative power available to direct at will. A couple of thousand years ago, there were far less people ready to comprehend the concept, but today, more and more people are beginning to realize this truth. So that's where we are in the story. The fact that you are getting this message indicates that global consciousness is inviting you to take advantage of your creative power and become an intentional designer of reality. Becoming a modern-day wizard, or messiah, or whatever name you want to give someone who realizes they are totally controlling their personal reality, generally takes some practice and a lot of discipline. You definitely can do it, though. That is why you are here. You're going for a master's degree after a bunch of lifetimes of study. The physical body you call whatever your name is just something you have imagined into existence and endowed with a point of consciousness so that you can help create and interact with the physical adventure world here on planet Earth. This may all sound like a far-out fiction tale to you, but we would like to invite you to play along for a bit and see how the ideas feel to you as you give yourself the chance to experience them. The Designer Reality Adventure Guidebook and Training Program have been imagined into existence to provide some stepping stones along the path, assuming you're up for the adventure. It is a glorious adventure of personal transformation, creating a wonder-filled life of happiness and fun while making the whole world a more loving and joyous place in the process. So are you ready for a great adventure? The door is open, and your path has already begun to unfold before